An 18-year-old shoots and kills his cousin's alleged abuser, but the victim was unarmed. So is he a hero or a murderer?
A local GOP leader shares a controversial social media video insisting the deadly shooting that took place in Florida last month was faked. We are digging deeper into this conspiracy theory.
Jury selection begins in the highly anticipated Tex McIver murder trial. What you need to know as court gets underway.
NBC's newest show, Good Girls, is filmed right here in the Metro. Hear the good and the bad the cast has to say about Atlanta.
But first, tracking some rain overnight. I'm here with Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb. So, Chris, what's the deal here? How bad or how not so bad?
Well, we've already watched one little bit of just light rain move out of the area, but there's more on the way. We're in a break now, but look out to the west.
Oh.
We have some showers, even storms coming into western Alabama. So let's take a look at the bigger picture, and I want to explain to you what's happening now as this moisture moves our way. We have what we call CAPE, or convective available potential energy, and we don't have any of that here. So as this thunderstorm activity moves across Alabama, it is going to weaken. So I don't want you to be worried about waking up to thunder and lightning during the overnight. But what I want you to prepare for is in the morning, all of this rain is going to be moving our way, and it is going to be a rather wet drive into work. Here is our future radar track, our high-resolution rapid refresh. We're dry now. Look at those storms coming in closer to Birmingham, but they fall apart as they move our way. We will see the rain, but then that's going to linger with us through much of the morning hours. Rainfall amounts, maybe about a ½ inch. We're going to take a closer look at some of those amounts and let you know when this rain is going to move out and when we get close to freezing.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Police say an 18-year-old shot and killed a man today in Gwinnett County. Tonight, the question, is he a hero or a murderer? Now, the man he shot and killed was in some sort of a domestic altercation with his wife. The 18-year-old stepped in and ended that altercation with a deadly gunshot. Faith Abube has been covering this one for us today. Faith, police arrested him, so do they believe this was a murder?
Well, Vinny, that's exactly what 18-year-old Jerry Bennett is being held here for in Gwinnett County at the jail. He's held on felony murder. Police tell us that even if he thought he was protecting his cousin, her life was not in danger when he allegedly pulled that trigger, killing her husband. Take a look at a picture we have of the former Marine in his uniform. He died this morning. Police say he's 30 years old, and he leaves behind a 6-year-old daughter who was the center of his life. Now, police tell us around midnight between Sunday and Monday, Pete's wife came home to their Peachtree Corners apartment to pack their bags and leave him. And she came with 2 men from South Carolina. One of them was her cousin. And police say Pete got into an argument with his wife as she was packing up, and he shoved her. And that's when Bennett allegedly stepped in and fired his gun, killing Pete. Now, we spoke exclusively to the 30-year-old's family, and they tell us the death was senseless.
He's been there since I was tiny, a baby in my life. We played every day. Like, that's been my right hand through everything. And my big brother is gone.
Well, police say there was a history of domestic violence between Pete and his wife. The most recent, a physical altercation just last month. His wife has claimed in the past Pete beat and choked her, but court records show she never actually pressed charges. Pete's family, along with a neighbor, tell me that he was the one who tried to leave an abusive relationship and died in the process.
Everybody understands there is 3 sides to the story: his, hers, and the truth. And we want the truth.
And again, Bennett is charged with felony murder and aggravated assault. He's being held here in the Gwinnett County Jail. Back to you, Vinny.
All right, thanks, Faith. An attorney from Griffin is under siege by a number of his clients, and he's now been disbarred by the state of Georgia. Walter Moore is his name. He was the subject of an 11 Alive investigation last month that revealed Moore had a history of taking money from his clients, but then failing to show up to represent him. Those clients demanded action.
Chased him down for 2.5 weeks trying to get the paperwork going or either get my money back.
He's been telling me for a week and a half now that he would meet me to give me back my stuff.
I paid you $2,000. Right. And you drug addict. Look at you, man.
So after months of complaints and lawsuits filed against him, the state Supreme Court has ruled that Moore should no longer be allowed to practice law in the state of Georgia. Tonight, WXIA, the station you're now watching, made news in a Georgia Supreme Court ruling. It involves our coverage of a murder trial. Let me give you a little background about the case first. Back in 2005, a former beauty queen and school teacher named Tara Grinstead went missing from her home down in Osceola. Now, the case went unsolved for many years. As a matter of fact, it's a case I covered in my Georgia Mystery Series. Well, an arrest was finally made in 2017. A former student of hers named Ryan Duke has been charged with her murder. Now, this is the biggest trial ever in that small community of Osceola. And the judge issued a gag order on all participants or potential participants in the trial in order to ensure a fair trial for the defendant that you're looking at. Now, that's where we enter the picture, and we file a lawsuit to get the gag order rescinded so people have the option to speak with the press if they want to. Well, today we won that case in the Georgia Supreme Court, and the gag order has been dropped. The justices found the constitutional right to speak outweighed any alleged impact on the defendant's right to a fair trial. And for those of you wondering if a defendant can get a fair trial if the case has gotten a lot of publicity like this one, just ask O.J. Simpson, Casey Anthony, or George Zimmerman. Three much higher profile cases where the court of public opinion said guilty, but the juries said not guilty. Sounds like they got a fair shake.
I'm Natisha Lance with the other big stories we're following in our speed feed. A local mother still coming to grips with the death of her teenage son tonight.
I just want my baby. That was my everything. Me and my baby did everything together.
Nikki Davis is talking about her 15-year-old son, Carlos. He was shot inside a Northwest Atlanta home, and that was on Sunday. Police say it was an accidental shooting. 17-year-old Jeffrey Reeves turned himself in, and investigators say a group of people were inside playing with the gun when it went off. Now tonight, friends and family held a vigil for Carlos Davis at Mays High School. That's where he was a student. Police are now tracing the weapon to determine who originally purchased it. The GBI finished up their autopsy of a toddler who died in a freak accident inside a Payless shoe source in Riverdale on Friday. The family of Ifra Siddiqui says the 2-year-old died after this mirror fell and hit her on the head. Police are now investigating to see if the mirror was properly secured. A chase suspect is recovering in the hospital after exchanging fire with a Georgia state trooper. It was a multi-county chase that began in Alabama and ended up all the way with a crash in Paulding County. GBI is investigating that.
Natasha, another big story that you covered today involved a local political official and a very controversial Facebook post.
Yeah, that's right, Vinny. So this official is now taking some heat tonight after sharing this conspiracy theory online that called the Parkland shooting in Florida that we've been talking about for a couple weeks now, calling it fake. Now members from the party are facing some serious, dangerous threats.
After I heard what Michael Davis said, somebody needs to be downrange from an AR-15.
Cobb County GOP Chairman Jason Shepard is bearing the nasty brunt in voicemails.
I hate Republicans more and more every day.
Facebook messages, text, and emails.
Well, we'll turn them over to the sheriff.
The firestorm coming after Michael Davis, second vice chair of the Cobb County Republican Party, seen here on his Facebook page, reposted a video that suggested the shooting at Parkland High School in Florida was a fraud. The video starts with what appears to be a legit MSNBC News report on active shooter training at high schools in Florida. Then,
this is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show.
A voiceover on the video begins commentary, suggesting these training drills could lead to bogus shootings with students acting.
You don't think that they could actually fake one of these things?
We tried to directly ask Davis why he made the post, ringing his doorbell, calling, and leaving a message,
Please leave your name,
but no response. Davis shared this video from a man named Michael Nicolau, whose Facebook profile lists him as living in Athens, Greece. Shepard says Davis does not think the shooting was faked.
There's no doubt that this happened.
Davis has since taken the post down. And Vinny, I did a quick scroll through the YouTube page for the commentator who is on that video, and it shows other videos about conspiracy theories, including others about Parkland. But as far as that particular video, it appears to be gone.
And you know, Natasha, there's so many of these conspiracy theory stories out there, and we had that discussion earlier today about whether we should even cover this because we don't want to fuel the flames and give them more attention. They've been around forever, but now with social media, it's so different because they spread so far so quickly.
Right, and we've seen a lot of them over the past couple of years, but let me give you a little history lesson here. So we were struck by a tweet that we saw from a professor from Princeton University, and it highlights a newspaper article that set out to dispel conspiracy theories, and that was back in the 1950s, when the 9 students, now known as the Little Rock Nine, set out to desegregate Central High School. Now, the conspiracy then was that they were paid and transplanted from the North in order to cause problems, and we know, of course, that that was a true story, that those students did change the face of school across the country, but it just goes to show that anytime there's a major change that's happening in history, that sometimes there's these naysayers and these conspiracy theories can pop up.
Every time. Thanks, Letitia. It's one of the more high-profile Atlanta murder trials in recent memory. Why did Tex MacGyver shoot his wife? Was it an accident or something more sinister? My legal dream team breaks it down. Plus, NBC's newest hit was shot in Atlanta.
Bar Taco.
Bar Taco.
That was my Postmates jam.
The stars of The Good Girls dish on their time in the ATL.
Hey guys, the U.S. Women's Olympic Ice Hockey team is here tonight. Plus, we have Katie Holmes, Ryan Terry Henry, and music from Meghan Trainor. Stay tuned.